Hello, fellow traders. Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Wednesday, July the 26th. The year is 2023. Let's talk trading. Trading with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and different from Walmal's. Walmal, a trader was asking about what broker you use because on, I guess, one of the days we were trading Red News, I had a bull candle or you had a bear candle or vice versa.
Right, and that happens. That happens more often than you would think, and it's just because these different brokers, they get their feeds in, and even if they're ECN, the thing is, all an ECN means that you're plugging into the market through certain banks, and a lot of these brokers, even though they're quote unquote ECN, they may be going into different banks than others are, and so because of that, you may get different prices, and because of the different prices, your candles may look a little bit different. They're not going to be terribly different, but they certainly could be different. Where you see terribly different, though, is usually at the open for the day. And the reason why is because a lot of the brokers, they'll go and say the open's at 5 o'clock, Eastern time, and another broker will say, no, it's at 4 o'clock, or another one will say it's at 3 o'clock, and so you got a couple hours of difference that it could be, and that'll mess it up. So that's kind of why you'll get different prices. Now, I personally use FOREX.com, and I'm not endorsing these brokers in any way, shape, or form. Your mileage may vary, but the only reason why I use FOREX.com is because I've had that account for, I don't know, probably at this point in time, 15 years, if not more, and it's been handed down for different brokers. As different brokers have gone in and out of business, and different people have bought it up and sold it off and so on and so forth. But right now, it's Forex.com, and they don't have the greatest spreads. They don't have the greatest. They don't have the greatest commission to be doing ECN with them. But it's over the years that I've kept them only because they have been fair when I've had complaints, and I've had my number of complaints, and sometimes they've settled it in my direction, and other times they haven't. Well, I guess that's called business, right? So you don't always get what you think you deserve or whatever, but that's okay. And then like every other broker, there are times, I don't know how many times a day I'll go and say, hey, they cheated me out of X points or X pips, on that entry or on that exit, or and then other times I'll go and say, hey, look at that, I got more than I expected to get on that. And I think it kind of averages out, And then the other broker I use is LQD, and I don't think if you're a U.S. citizen, you're allowed to get an account with LQD anymore. You used to be able to, but I think about a year or so ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, they stopped allowing you to get accounts with them. They allowed you to go and keep your account if you had already opened it, but they would not open new accounts for U.S. citizenry.
Right. And prices definitely moving to the upside across that H4 open back at '08.
Yep. Yeah. There was a nice little flip-top box there that you could have taken. It would not have had a state change until it broke out, but if you took the chance, you could have picked up 5 pips.
You're talking about it long at 12?
Yeah, let me tell you exactly. The long would have been, 12.7 on my charts. But,
yeah, it looks well. Yeah, when I say 12,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because it looks like 12.9 on my chart.
But the interesting thing about today, and I kind of predicted this yesterday on yesterday's video, if you go back and watch it, is that we wouldn't see very much movement, and so far today we've only seen 50 pips of movement. And what's really interesting is that, well, this hour is a big hour in terms of range. We've had 15 pips of range on this hour, but the last 2 hours prior to that were 10 and 13 on my charts, just very, very compressed, probably waiting for, 2 o'clock Eastern U.S. time, because that's when FOMC is going to go and announce a rate change if there's going to be one, and then they're also going to have their meetings and all that type of fun stuff and their press conference, which happens, I think, like a half hour later or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys decide to go and do.
And that'll definitely be red news trading.
Yeah, something's going to happen. Unfortunately, I'm going to be away from my desk. I've got other things I got to do at that time. But there'll be. I wish I could be around for that. I may just turn on the recorder just to watch it delayed, just to see what price did during that half hour. The only other news that we have today is in a half hour, which is new home sales. New home sales has been. I know it's only orange news, but it has been moving the market a lot over the last year. And I think just, again, probably the reason is because there's uncertainty in the market as to where this economy is going. Although what's interesting was yesterday we saw the consumer confidence in the U.S. was very, very unexpectedly good. So, so there's a number of people that are still out there that believe the economy is going in the right direction for whatever reason. And now that trade could have been worth 10 pips.
Well, the latest flip-flop box would be worth 4.5 right now, on this one candle alone.
Yep. So it's there would have been multiple entries here that you could have taken. You could have really racked up the pips. So. Where this goes, I have no idea. But right now I'm in a holding pattern because we've moved up pretty significantly. So I want to go in. If I want to take a short here, I've got to wait a little bit. And if I'm looking for a long, I got to wait for this candle minimum for this candle to close. And I would like to see a state change. So in other words, right now we have an inside bar. I want it to stay as an inside bar, and then I would take the break of the inside bar. Okay, we no longer have an inside bar, but we now going to have a down bar, so we have a state change in that direction. We are below indicator 2, so
we were.
Short, yeah. A short is possible if we go and break, let's say 18. The only thing is that we would be changing. We would go against the M30, not by very much because the M30 is relatively new.
We'd be going against everything.
Yep.
But
and sometimes that's okay, But it's but understand that keep it tight.
You better explain what you mean by tight.
In other words, keep an eagle eye on it and pay attention because you're going against everything, and so because you're going against everything, it rapidly could change against you. By the way, that my previous M1 candle was a gap down, which was filled, obviously, but it was a gap down. Okay, so now we have another flip-flop box. I went long.
That's funny. I didn't get a flip-flop box there. My flip-flop long is at 22.7.
I do it on the previous candle. I don't wait for 2 candles for the candle back from it.
No, I'm saying that, okay, your candle 1, is it bull or bear?
It's a bull.
Yeah, see, mine's a bear.
Okay. That's why we're disagreeing. Okay. Okay, we stopped. Okay, we jumped up. Okay, I'm out. I got 3 pips.
Nice shot.
What did I actually get? Look at that. I only got 2.2.
So when you hit exit, it was at 3.
Yep.
And
But when it but what the order actually got filled at was 2.2, and that's so I can go and say those dirty rats. They just went and stole point eight pips from me. And those are the ones I'm going to remember. But the reality is, I also know that there are a lot of times when I would have they give it to me the other direction. So I've learned over time that don't get upset about it. It's just
trading.
it's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's part of the game. Yeah.
Well, the thing, I think the reason we remember it, well, a couple of reasons. One, because it goes against us. And two,
Yeah.
it just seems like more often than not, it goes their way. Going your way, even by a point, is a rare occasion. At least that's...
Or at least it seems.
Yeah.
Or at least it seems that way. I know at one point in time, this going back a while ago, I started to go and keep a tick chart. I didn't keep track of the points or the pips, but just they gave me more, they didn't give me more, and I kept that for about a week. And at the end of the week, it was like inconsequential difference. I think they took more than they gave, but it was like I think I took across the week something like 100 trades, and I think what happened was that across those 100 trades, maybe 4 of them were in their direction. 4 more were in their direction than in my direction. So to me, it's sort of like, yeah, so what?
But it almost seems like every trade they at least take you for a point or 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that 18 again?
Well, there might be a reason for that because usually when we take a trade or go to exit, it's when price is either A, stopped, or B, moving against us.
Right.
As opposed to if price is going our direction, usually
You stay in.
we're staying in the trade. So
Yep, you're right. We broke that 18. So if you would have taken a trade from before, and the interesting thing is you would have had another flip flop at this almost the same spot, a little bit lower than it was before for the downside. But I'm not taking this trade. And if you look left at the very beginning of the hour, you'll see that we got a little bit of a shelf there. But if it breaks that shelf, it's going to go and probably cascade all the way down to below 15. But the reason why I didn't take the trade was because it just looked like we're going to run into congestion. Why take the chance? Of course, you could have picked up a tip and a half or so. So, wrong call on my part. But at the same time, I did it for a reason.
And you know what? The fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about done. It sure goes by quickly, but I think one thing you have to note, even in the 15 minutes of trading, there's pips to be made. And that's because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.